My easiest favorite garden that really doesn't cost me any money. I didn't even know this was here. That anyone can do. Hi, it's Robbie from Southern California. I came out early in the morning. I've already had 1 cup of coffee though, and I'm admiring all the tomatoes growing. This is fall. And we're doing better now in the fall than we did all spring and summer. So what I'm doing right now here in my chair garden, and that's the garden I'm in. So before we continue with my morning routine, so let's do a recap on this garden. In 2020, I put this garden together with those chairs that were already painted from parties from years ago, like I've told you. And all I had to do was set them up, make sure the ground was level, and just collect the chairs. This garden, totes and all, have been going for 4 years now. And I think this is really good. The chairs were free. The totes at the time were $5. Now they're $7. And I had an entire garden to grow thousands of dollars of organic produce in there, and I am sure it will go for many more years. If I have to switch out a tote here and there, I haven't done it yet, I'll do it. But right now, everything's going good, and that's how I put it together, and that is all it took to put this fabulous garden together that anybody can do. Look around. I'm sure you can get chairs for free. If not, you can use metal chairs, and they're $10 each. And the totes, yes, you can still get them at Walmart for $7. And sometimes you can find them at the thrift stores for really a couple dollars. If they're missing lids in the stores, a lot of times they'll give them to you for half price. But this is all it took to build an entire garden for less than $50. And there it is. And now I have been growing produce for all these years and will continue to do so. I want you to see this garden and understand how easy and cheap it is to put together, how portable it is, and how much food you can grow. This garden will last you for many, many years. And I just love the amount of food I grow. And you have control over each container, meaning you have control over each plant or plants that are growing per tote. And remember, you can grow underneath as well. I have grown, no joke, a ton of squash in here, along with so many other types of food type plants. You set it up, and if you don't like it, move it. But you're taking care of everything in one spot. You're not going all over the place, and you're going to compost in place. Kitchen scraps and everything go right in, and then you grow. Remember, my rainbow garden is also a chair garden, just with a different name. But that walking up and down the driveway was too much. And in case you want to sit down, get yourself a really light stool, something sturdy like this, something you can just pick up and move out of the way. I mean, after all, you may want to sit and garden, or maybe you get a phone call and you want to sit down by your garden, enjoy your phone call and your break, and you'll have some place to rest and enjoy your garden that you've worked so hard in. So look around. I found those stools for about $7, but you can find them, or any chair. But the point is, let's make our life easier so we can garden. Now let's get back to my gardening this morning. As I'm collecting all the brown leaves, and I'm simply dropping them back in. I'm trying to do this one-handed, so bear with me. I'm going to load the bottom of these 3 totes up with whatever brown leaves I find. Probably will get ready to take the squash out soon. Look at this. And then I'm just going to take matter off the ground, or maybe leaves that have fallen from the trees. I'm going to cover whatever I end up picking. If it doesn't come off easy, what you really want to do at that point is cut it. And I walk around with a plain old scissors I bought for $1, and it works fantastic. Same scissors I've had for a little while. But isn't this gorgeous? This has worked out wonderful. You can make this any size you want. 3 tomato stakes there, and then the irrigation tubing I use, and you just, with a soldering iron, make some holes, and you put it in a circular fashion, and look how big that is. And I can make it bigger. I can make it giant. So this has been wonderful. Look at this. There's just so much. So I want to get all the leaves off, because the leaves, even from the tomato plant, remember, it's pulling up nutrition, and I want to put all the vitamins and nutrition back. And like I said, if it doesn't pull good, don't pull it. Because if you pull, you can rip the plant. You don't want to rip the plant. Tomatoes have trichomes, which are those little hair-like things. Has nothing to do with roots. Did a whole video on that years ago when everybody was calling it roots. It wasn't roots. That protects the plant. If they get too damaged, at that point, when they're damaged, it can bring in viruses, bacteria, and different things in the plant. So you want to go through gently. See this one? This one I can pull and pull and pull. It's really stuck on. I don't want it. So with the scissors, boom, it's gone. And I'm really taking off the yellow leaves too. And that's what I'm going to go through and take off. Here's another one. You just cut it with the scissors right to the trunk. Isn't this beautiful? There's a good chance until the frost comes, and I don't know if we'll have frost because we get cold, but it depends. We've had in the 30s. This will flourish now because the big heat is over, and by putting something on the bottom and covering these leaves that are coming off, that will really give it a lot of nutrition. Look at that. And I want to get all that off. So I'm going to go through all of it. And it's something you could do too. It's basically what you're doing is you're grooming the plant. And that helps the plant because it's still trying to take care of leaves that are yellow. Let me cut that. But the yellow leaves aren't really doing anything for the plant but taking nutrients. But in the same time, I can come over here. Let's see, some of the brassica leaves. I can remove that. And I can put some brassica leaves there too. Now I can get a bucket of anything, even weeds. Weeds, oh my goodness, do they pull up a lot of minerals and nutrients from the ground. So you can just throw those there. And as long as it's not a really bad type of weed, you know, that just spreads like wildfire, you could use any of these weeds. So I don't have to trip on the weeds. I can just pick up all this stuff. And then I've got leaves over here. Any leaves, I mean, there's leaves here. Collect all this, and I can collect more, which I will do more, make a big pile, because you know how I compost in place, everything goes in there and then I cover it. Anything underneath will break down. Anything on top will not. It will take time. That will just sit there and dry up, but it won't feed the plant. But as soon as you cover it and you start watering the plant, anything underneath, the microbes will come, the earthworms will come. Earthworms will come right to the surface. Microbes will come to the surface, but not to the very top, just underneath that. And that's what I'm going to do here. I could do the same thing with squash leaves because all that's pulled up, all the goodies I put inside the tote, and now they're not using it because the leaves are dying back. But isn't this beautiful? This is my favorite garden. I really should spend more time in here instead of the 2 minutes I spend in here because it takes care of itself. Oh, I got to get a cucumber, see? My cucumbers are pretty much done, but I think we'll have a couple more. And one in the back, I don't think that one made it, but there's still more flowers. A lot of this needs good trimming. Anything like this isn't doing the plant any good. And all this can go under my tomato plant, and then we'll cover it up. And that's all you have to do. This is like really, let me step back, low maintenance. This is unbelievable. I mean, I didn't get to all the totes this year. I wanted to, and I had all intentions to, but I had too many gardens. Have I spread myself too thin? Of course, but that doesn't stop me. I did all these, and then I stopped 1, 2, 3, possibly 4. It's either 3 or 4 totes I did not get to. These totes are what? I think they're in their 3rd year, going on their 4th, something like that. But I didn't get to those 4, but look, it still grew tomatoes. Look how beautiful these tomatoes are. And again, I want to get all these yellow leaves out. And there's a squash plant back there. I'll look at it. I don't think it's going to do anything, but the tomato plant doesn't care. It's growing. Continue taking out yellow leaves. That one's not going to come off. So I can come through, find the end. I hope I got the right leaf. I do. And then take all these off and then just pile some leaves on top of that. But look at that. It is just bursting into tomatoes all through here. So I'm going to give it a boost that way. But see, it still grew, even though I didn't have it set up and ready to go. But this is from last year. Red vein sorrel will grow for years and it spreads. So you could divide that and make more. There's more. Nothing in here. Look how far the soil dropped down. And yet my red vein sorrel is really, really happy. So that's what I'm doing today. Just get up in the morning, start my day off by picking someplace I want to take care of. Don't really need too much shade anymore. I can take my old flag off maybe there and maybe start uncovering some of these. But isn't that beautiful? I mean, its beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, and I am the beholder. But I look at all the tomatoes I'm getting, still have a couple cucumbers. I've got garlic chives growing. I've got walking onions growing down there, more garlic chives. Look at brassicas, all the brassica leaves that I want just by growing in that pot, which is layering. And see how this one is pretty much to the top? Well, that's still to the top, and I filled that all the way to the top. So it's collapsing very slowly. But this is going to be great to just go ahead and clean up the leaves. And then, let me put this down for a minute. It's got an orange handle, so hopefully I'll find it. Look, I got to get my squash out of here. It had some nips, so I threw tulle on it a while ago, and the tulle works. It's kept the squirrels out of here. But here's the thing. I can continue to groom in here and feed my plants. And that's what I was going to say. You just feed them by doing very little. Come through, groom your plants, throw it on the bottom, and then cover it with something, and the microbes will eat that, and then it will go down. A couple of these totes look like they're starting to wear and tear. Yeah, I don't know if I'll change them out next spring. If they're still holding and I'm not moving them, I can probably get another year out of them, which would give me a good solid 4 years. For $5, 4 years, I think that's really good. And I can change it out later. But right now I'm going to leave them. But I'll go through all this. Got my brassicas, and then I was going to show you here. Have a bucket of water. I make compost tea. And I don't know where my dipper is. Okay, anyways, what I usually do, and that's a good question. Where is, oh, there's my dipper. Remember Gary made me the little barbecue? I keep a lot of stuff in here closed. And then all I have to do is I can use anything. I could use a small, tiny bucket, container. Just go through and just give the plants a little nutrition, which helps feed the bottom. I didn't get to all of them this year too. So I'll have to get more plants along the bottom, and I propagate. This looks like it needs a little help. It looks a little yellow, but I think what's happening to the turmeric is I'm going to use the term root bound. I think it's too packed, so it's kind of stressing, and that's okay. Another month or two, I'll be digging it up anyways, if not sooner. And this I want to tie back up. I just need a piece of yarn. Actually, let's see if I can do this. No, I can't. Hold on. Might be able to just re-guide it this way. There we go. But I've been tying it up with just yarn. See? It's the cheapest, easiest thing to do. I tied all that up. And with the irrigation tubing and yarn, how can you get any cheaper than that? And you think, well, yarn's not going to last that long. That's true. It's only going to last 1 to 2 years. If it's a synthetic yarn, it will last you a good 2 years, if not longer. If it's a cotton yarn, it will break down right away because it will go back to the earth. So either way, this is good to go. So I'm going to go finish here. Going to top that off with some whatever I find on the ground. And I'll have to think about getting to those, but maybe not today. Look at the garlic chives I propagated. More back there. What's under here? Swiss chard is growing. And then I've got my more garlic chives there. And if you get a scissors, try to find something that's got a bright handle so you can see it. Because I've got some of my best tools gone because they were black and they just disappeared. And I never found them again. And you can always get some cheap red paint and paint it. And that works really well. But just wanted to kind of stop and tell you this has been the easiest garden. And it doesn't cost that much to build. You need some totes in a horseshoe, whatever size you need for your family or yourself. It could even be a couple. You walk in here, you water everything literally in under 1 minute. In the summer, water once a day. In the fall and winter, we're going to start going to once every couple days. And that's all you're going to need to do. And really, you can sit with a chair on this. You don't have to stand, but everything is off the ground, and it's clean, and it really looks nice, and it's easy to maintain, is what I'm saying, by walking in here and having everything at your fingertips. This is like a micro garden that could be packed with thousands of dollars of food and grow what you're going to eat. I don't use a ton of red vein sorrel, but I do use it in a lot of green drinks because it's so nutritious with the red in it and everything, and this is what we need. But this has just been my perfect garden, and I think anybody can do this. You can get chairs for free. We got a lot of them in the trash. These were painted over 20 years ago, some of them. They were painted once after a birthday party. Let's see, she's 25. She was about 5 years old. Maybe they were painted about 17 years ago. The blue one was not. The blue one I bought 30 years ago, and it's been the same color. It was dark blue. I bought that for $35, 4 chairs and a table in front of a grocery store. But the other ones were all painted with just house paint, tester paint you get from the hardware stores that they sell for cheap. Unless you want a specific color, you can buy a little can. You can usually get 3 chairs out of a small can that costs about $5. But look, it's held the paint. It's got a little bit of wear and tear now, but you know, after 17 years, I think it's done really good, and I'm really pleased. Is that not beautiful? Anyways, that's what my morning routine is today. I'm pretty much done. Get some stuff thrown in there so everything will break down. Feed my plants for free, and that's what this is all about. Feeding for free. That feeds me. Does it cost? A little bit. Water I have to use. Maybe 1 bag of soil for everything because I load it up with my own weeds and everything. And then I just top it with a little soil. Or I take soil from another tote that's already broke down and use that. Please, once you start gardening, check my older videos. And I think you're going to find you can garden just like Mother Nature does. And she's got everything growing all around here. Everything, and it's all growing for free. What we were provided with, and that's all we need to garden a lot of our food. But of course, if you want to buy plant food and all that, that's up to you. I haven't bought plant food in over 20 something years, and I have no reason to. So with that, have a wonderful day. I'm going to get that covered, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. And a good policy would be after you've done everything and you've put all your leaves and stuff on the bottom and covered it with whatever you can find around the garden, give it a good watering so everything goes in there and you can get those microbes starting to grow.